Hello, seekers, confessors, and wizards, and welcome to the Sword of Truth podcast, the chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sword of Truth series with an ironic twist of craft brew on the side. I'm Nate, and I'm here in the Green-Eyed Beast with my two-timing traveling companions, Jade and Aaron.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, guys. Thanks to Maggie for all the hospitality and especially the drinks.
Yeah.
And
Nate, we don't have to thank her.
Aaron?
In
going
this
to.
episode, we're going to be privy to a historic breach of security and trust while we discuss part 3 of Dead of Bones. Stop. The bad part about that is we always say it so loud. I can hear it like breaking the level in the headphones, so I can only know what that's going to sound like when we edit it.
It's going to worm its way into people's brains.
Speaking of listening, for those of you listening along, the timestamps for this section of the book are going to be 1 hour and 2 minutes through about 1 hour, 35 minutes, give or take. I've abandoned all hope on giving you the actual page number because we've all now found out that depending on the size of the text, it's a different page number, unless you have the actual book. Then,
Which we do, and we could have referenced.
Nate, I don't know how to say this, but
now that we're recording, I realize I should have probably just used those.
it's canon in the podcast that we have the books.
Yeah, we do.
You
We
brought
do.
them here and gave them to Jade and I. So
Well-
also, hear me out. Ready? DoB. That doesn't break the levels.
All right. Are we ready to get into this chapter?
Yeah.
Or part?
Yeah.
Or section?
I have the drink I
Or
paid for.
piece? All right. Here we go. When we last left, the first wizard Zedekis Zul'Zarander had just denied Abby's request to save the people of Pendleton Reach. After hearing this, Abby runs out of the first wizard's chamber, where we see her now.
Okay.
Yeah, she was very, very upset.
Yeah, it wasn't a great end. And again, that was a part that you decided that we were going to end there because, and I quote, you wanted me to be sad.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I wanted you to be sad. Well, I needed you to feel the gravity of the situation.
I did. I drank more beer
For a whole...
for a whole day.
So now you're good and sad enough to keep going?
I think it was a day. I've been having trouble with the timing here.
I mean, it's got to be because of the portal stuff.
I still don't really have a lock on where we are. I mean, I
Yeah.
know where we are. I just guess I
it's-
don't know
yeah.
when we are.
Oh, yeah, good point. Well, I mean, they don't even say it in the book yet. We haven't even gotten like a solid date. That's always the problem with these timey-wimey things, okay? They never give you facts. They just brush right past it.
So at the bottom of the steps outside the chamber, Abby collapses to the floor and sobs. The first wizard couldn't even be bothered to save a helpless child.
What a piece of shit.
Well, that's
Yeah, I
the
mean,
way she feels.
Look, when you leave out details like she does, yeah, First Wizard sounds like a piece of shit.
It's just the way she tells the story.
She didn't lie. She just also didn't tell the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
A sorceress puts a magical, comforting hand on her back, and when she looks up, she realizes that she's been crying into the lap of the mother confessor herself.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
Abby has made a bit of a change here. She doesn't seem to be afraid of her anymore, because at this point, like, what else is she going to do?
Yeah, too much sad.
Too much, yeah.
No time for mad. No time for afraid. Too much sad.
And we do actually get an image. In this image here, it was included in the book. The mother confessor and the sorceress are here. Our first look, I only saw the two people, but if you look, here's the third person.
Oh.
This is Abby. This is the mother confessor. And this is the sorceress.
Oh.
It's kind of hard to see because the foot here, I don't know who that belongs to.
I thought that was Abby holding her sack, and that is the sorceress, or that's the mother confessor that's standing.
I
can't
don't know.
quite tell, but I can
I
kind of
think
see
that's
it now.
what it
Where
is.
like that's might be like
Yeah,
that's the
I was
back
like,
of
what's
her
she
head.
holding then? But
Yeah.
it could be a sack.
might be.
It looks-
But look, okay, and I'm not going to be critical of any other artist because I could absolutely not do this. But then what's going on with this leg here is what I'm just
I
kind of.
think
That's
that's her
why I
leg.
think it's the
It's-
third person. Was it broken
I can't-
like twice?
it does kind of looks a little too lumpy to be a leg.
That's all.
Like
if that's the case.
But I also don't wear dresses, so I don't know if maybe that's what dresses look like
texture of the
sometimes.
cloth.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I think maybe you're right,
Hmm.
because if there was a third person, I'm assuming there would be more feet here at the very bottom, and I'm not seeing any.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
You people.
I did think it was wild how quickly, like, she comes out of the room and she's sobbing, and then all of a sudden she's in the lap of a person, and she's being touched by that person and the sorceress. And I just, listen, other people deal with sadness and, like, falling apart differently. I don't know that I've ever had to fall apart and that, like, been this sad in a public setting. So maybe I would act differently. But usually when I'm falling the fuck apart, I am very conscious of where I am.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Hyper-vigilant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really want to be like, sometimes it's nice to be comforted by a specific person, but I am not like, no, I would never be like randomly in a stranger's lap when I'm breaking. Like, how did that happen? How
No,
did
you're
you
looking
just-
for a place of comfort. You're not going to run to just whoever the hell or
Yeah.
collapse. You're going
Yeah.
to try and get to your safe space.
Yeah,
first.
like a private area so you could sob. But also, she looks up and she's in the lap of the mother confessor. What?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
I think I've cried in a stranger's lap, but it was because I was drunk, not because I was sad.
No. Yeah, I might
Well,
have
I
been
was
there a
probably
time or
also
two.
sad, but it was because I was drunk.
Well, Abby tells the mother confessor that the first wizard is a fucking monster. He is the ill wind of death, and he's killing her baby. And it does add here that she's not able to have any more. So it's not like we'll just have another one. It's like, no, this is the last baby I could ever have, just to raise the stakes even more.
Yeah, which I do find it kind of telling that it's like, hey, this life is important, but it's also important because I can't replace it. It's like, I think
Right.
the life is at an equal importance no matter what situation it's in. The replaceability shouldn't factor into someone's life. I get what they're trying to say, that it's like, hey, that's why it's so sad, is because, like, it's not, I'm not going to be able to get a new puppy. I can't get a new kid. Like, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
we're done. But I did, there was a brief moment where I'm like, why is it more sad? Because it's like, I didn't know replaceability came into factor when you were valuing your children.
Well, and also, I think it's more sad for Abby because that's her kid.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, yes, it's sad when like other people's children die. It's horrible, but
not a
then
bunch of
the
her
idea
neighbors'
of your
kids.
own children
Mhm.
dying is just like, good God, no.
Yeah, it's much more. Well, it's like what we said. Is what Abby doing, like, is what she's doing wrong to, like, ask this? No. But it's also not wrong for Zed to deny it, because he is thinking at such a grander scale.
Well, and I mean, also her language here when she's talking to the mother confessor, she's very, I'm trying to think of the word. She's exaggerating so much.
Oh, yeah.
He's killing my baby.
Yeah.
He's doing these things. And I mean, I know that in that moment, it's your baby, and this was your only chance at saving them. So you feel that way. But, like, it's obvious that's not the facts, but she keeps driving it home anyways.
She literally said, this time it's my baby he's killing, not the enemy.
Right.
Yeah, he's killing.
Yeah. No, the enemy is killing your baby.
And she says it multiple times. Like, that's, I guess, my thing with
She
it.
misconstrues what she's actually saying.
Because, like, I understand being this upset. And, like, when you're ranting to somebody that you feel, I'm like, I'm stressed out about this. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I understand expressing that maybe once and be like, he's killing my baby this time. But I feel like even as those words leave your mouth that first time, you're like, I see that I'm being over the top with that statement, but that's how I feel. You don't, like, keep driving that point home. Even with the people that you know and are comfortable with, I feel like when you say something like that, you don't just keep hammering that down because like, no, he's not actually. I know my baby isn't, like, literally up in that room about to get her head chopped off.
Yeah.
She does mean it, though.
Yeah,
Well, she
that's
does,
what I'm saying. Normal.
She
that's
wants
why,
him dead.
Yeah, that's why it's so wild to me that she is acting this way.
And it says he will kill her just as he killed that man before. That, again, direct quote from her.
Yeah, that's wild to me.
Well, the sorceress does tell Abby that she's not seeing the whole picture here. The mother confessor tells Abby that as parents themselves, they both understand her pain, and so does the first wizard. Abby strongly disagrees.
Yeah.
Fuck him. He's a monster. It's all bad.
Well, I mean, also, what about the other 500 peasants who lost their children this week? If he talked to every other one, they'd feel the exact same way, honey. Like,
we have been losing hundreds of people every day because we're fighting a war.
Yeah.
It's been going very poorly up until very recently. So, like, it is sad because your family's dying. But exactly like you said, Jade, you're not the only family that's been killed. Like, other people already dead. Their worst day has already happened, and you're kind of trying to cut in line of importance.
And I mean, I know we underline it with, oh, it's us personally, but I guess my thing is, it's very personal to her, but it doesn't even matter if Zed has a personal connection, like if his daughter is personally, or if the mother confessor's children have died, that doesn't matter because other people's have, so Abby ain't special.
Yeah, she doesn't ask, like when she says, hey, I have a daughter, hey, I have a daughter too, hey, blah, blah, she doesn't ever say like, well, oh, are your families affected? Because mine are. So you do, like, hey, we don't have the same level of sympathy because your families have not been directly affected yet. She's just assuming that nothing has affected these people.
Nobody else is affected by this entire war.
I don't even think she's assuming that. I think it doesn't matter to her.
That's what I mean. She's going right
hers.
past it. Yeah. No, you're right. It's not that she's not assuming. She's literally not even thinking of it.
Really fast, I just want to say the fact that this woman has violet eyes is absolute insanity to me, and I'm upset with Terry Goodkind about it, because nowhere in this series have we ever seen unnatural eye colors for any fucking reason.
Oh, yeah. Least of all the confessors.
Yeah. Everybody has normal ass eyes.
Yeah.
Green is special, right? It's magical, but there's nothing like teal or, black. No. But all of a sudden, we're just going to toss them in there for this bitch and act like it's fucking normal? Okay. Sorry. Continue.
Well, the MC, Mother Confessor, says, I just realized that that's like a studio DJ or some shit. And it's like, no, it's not the same thing. The Mother Confessor says, let me tell you a little bit more about Zed before you judge him. And so, for your consideration, I now give you Zedicus Zul Zorander, a brief history.
I do think that there is an MC version of this where it's like to the tune of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh,
this is a
now
story.
Let me tell you about a wizard. You
wizard.
just don't understand. So Zed, born of a wizard and a sorceress, he was curious about everything and was called Mischief on Two Legs.
That seems to describe a young child. Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. He was that rare kid who had a whole bunch of extra energy, you know? He was also considered a child prodigy, wielding great power only he seemed to understand how to do. So basically, like anybody, say, 10 years younger than us with a computer.
Yeah.
Totally lost. Yeah. You just wield great magic. I don't get how you do it, but it's on there.
TikTok might as well be magic.
Sure. When he got older, he didn't want to fight in the war until it was the very last option, which set him apart from a bunch of the people that he grew up with, right? Everybody was basically learning their skills to fight in this war. Zed didn't want to do it that way.
Well, I'm assuming that's tied to the power that he has of like, hey, if you set me loose, bad things are going to happen to those people.
Could very well be,
like worse than getting stabbed with a sword. So only call me if it's a last resort.
You, with a battle axe, can kill like we'll say 1.5 people at a time. I can kill thousands.
Mm-hmm.
So like me going to war is going to have a much greater effect than you going to war. Also, I'm going to kill so many more people.
I wonder if he'll ever get a nickname that references that he can kill a lot of people at once.
Well, I guess we'll never know it. Zed also was known for using his head and his heart, and he was named First Wizard for those reasons.
Which I do find that, like, they said that set him apart, too. And it's like, really? Just a bunch of unsympathetic assholes are in this city?
Look at this guy with fucking sympathy. Fuck him.
Yeah. I'm assuming they mean, like, he was the only one that used his head as in heart that also wielded that much power.
I think so.
You know?
That and did also try to apply logic deeply to any situation. I think it's like, you've got the general
Yeah.
from part 2,
Yeah.
where he's just like, let's just go in there and kill those motherfuckers. And
He's
Zed
looking
is
at
the guy
maps,
going,
numbers.
hey,
Yeah.
let's hang on a second.
We're losing this amount of people. And Zed's like, but what about the people? Like, it's both. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, Zed, he goes by many names, but one of them is the Trickster.
The Trickster.
I don't know why the Mother Confessor decided to add this little thing in here right now. I will say, I'm going to break the book just a little bit. It ties in later, but I don't know. It's just a weird detail. It's like, oh, well, maybe it's because she's trying to paint the picture he's not a bad guy.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
the wind
yeah.
of death. You know, everything is all hellish rebuke and everything. And then it's like, no, actually, he just likes fucking with people a little bit. He's not really a monstrous killer.
She's just trying to employ and maybe they don't paint it very clearly, but the wind of death thing is to scare the enemy. But so some of his pranks look scary on the outside, especially to the enemy, but they're just really funny to the people behind the scenes.
Well, Abby believes it. She thinks that name might just be because he's good at killing people. It's like, yeah, it's just to scare the enemy, or he's really fucking good at it.
It's too bad. It's too bad we couldn't give Abby a copy of Wizard's First Rule so she could see, the Wizard's First Rule moment.
Oh, yeah.
Where, he tricks a bunch of people. Yeah.
We could give her
the
a copy
trickster.
of this book because I've got 6 more in my pocket right now. But then I think I'd be considered a prophet, and I'm going for full wizard status. So
okay.
I don't think I can break the world that way.
Good point. well, the world is safe in your hands now.
Safe once more.
You
That's
saved
right.
the world again.
Well, the MC knows that she's got to ante up for Abby to believe that Zed's not really a monster. So after being sworn to secrecy under penalty of the Mother Confessor being mad at her forever, which I think is great.
Yep, absolutely. I agree to those terms.
And until yesterday, I wanted to add fully effective for Abby to be like, I will not fucking tell anybody what you say here because just a look is going to burn my soul out of my body. So like, yeah, I'll do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
She decides to tell Abby about the war.
She tells her all these things about Zed as a person, being like, listen, he didn't even want to join the war for a long time because he was, he didn't want to kill people. And she's like, cool, I don't care. I don't care how good he is. My baby's going to die.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
That's a cool story, bro. My kid's still going to die.
Yeah. And I do feel that on one level. And on the other hand, I'm like, you're really putting in the work, though, to not try to see the other side of this.
Yeah. And I think maybe the story that the Mother Confessor is about to tell is definitely going to shed some light on Zed. But we are going to be getting into that story right after we take a little break.
Can one of you guys go get the beer?
No. Hey, Aaron. What are you drinking today?
Today, I am drinking. You are drinking. We are drinking. Sue's Best Cream Ale from the Perch Brewery, which I realized that I have the least amount of information about this brewery because I have not been there, unlike my 2 very good friends.
Your cohorts?
My cohorts. But it is described to me as a light, refreshing, crisp, and slightly sweet cream ale, just like Sue, clocking in 6.3%. Guys, how are we feeling about this thing?
I think it's pretty good. We were in Arizona in the AZ, as they say, I think. I don't know, actually. I never heard anyone say that. But we were there.
Do they say when you're in Arizona, you're up in the Az?
I mean, I would. If I lived there, I feel like I would. But I don't know. I just assume. Assume. Anyways, this is a great beer. We went to this brewery. They have birds there, a lot of birds. They rescue parrots and exotic birds, and that was wonderful. This beer was great. I had it there, and I decided to bring it back here for us to share with the listeners.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
Oh my god, he's crying! Don't!
I've got tears streaming down my face.
Got him.
Up in the ass. As the people of Arizona are known to say,
When you're here, you're up in the ass.
You're up in the
ass. Oh my
Look,
God.
I like to think that I could be a part-time marketing genius. I think that's a fair assessment with what I can do. But yeah, I don't think it would be difficult to market this beer. This beer is pretty light, refreshing, crisp, and a little sweet. I mean, it's funny. It's a cream ale. I get a little bit of cream. It's almost just like a Pilsner with how light, refreshing, and crisp this thing is.
Yeah.
I could drink this all day long. Absolutely delicious.
Yeah, I think that's why this is one of the ones I picked when we were there because it's hot, so you don't want something super like
Oh,
damp,
yeah.
but it's nice.
I do think maybe it could have gone with like a touch of vanilla or something.
Yeah.
Just to be more like ice cream, but that's not what this is trying to
bit
be.
more cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, like you said, it's crisper. It's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah,
But it does got that little sweetness in it though still. So it's not just like, some light beers. I mean, it's 6.3. I mean, this thing would probably kick my ass if I tried to drink it all day, but I'd like to go down swinging. You said they kind of rescued birds. So I think we'll do this out of 10 feathers. I think I'm going to give this 8.5. I'm pretty high on this one.
I would give it probably 7.5 feathers.
I was actually going to go 7 feathers. I think maybe I've just, when they say cream ale, I'm waiting for something a little sweeter than this.
You're thinking more lactose in your.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe I've got a skewed view of what this needs to be. It is good.
Yeah.
But when I think of cream ale, I'm thinking like A&W kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cream, but it is good. I don't want to say it's not good. Just different than what I expected. So 7.
Yeah. If this was Sue's best Pilsner, this would be like a 9.5.
I think that's the other thing too. Just on the style. I did try a stout from this place. That was very much so like a porter. I think we might have that audio.
That's what I was gonna say is that we will probably for our patrons have a little bit of a share session about the other beers that we did because I have a video of Nate describing himself talking about that beer and it's enjoyable and I wrote down some other things we had said in the moment and I had been drinking so it'll be fun to reread what I wrote at that time.
I think we got ourselves a solid beer here, and I think we can get back into the next part of Dead of Bones that we're discussing.
Hell yeah.
You guys ready to get back into it? Maybe right about DoB?
And we are back. And we're going to be talking about the war.
I'm just saying, we will all get the beers quicker if one of you guys go.
Speaking of
I
war,
was gone
you're
the whole break.
Going to start one here with poor Maggie.
Listen, we don't know how long we're gonna be here. We gotta figure it out.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Why can't she treat us with a little respect?
She has.
Not me.
Because you've been a dick.
Just no.
She is going to end up making you pay for the bedded beer we're getting for free right now for keeping the rest of these patrons, entertained.
Do you know
And
how
I'm
much?
not giving you any of the money that I've gotten from anybody.
Do you know how much exposure we are giving this woman?
Zed married his wife, Erilyn, and had a beautiful daughter who was about Abby's age at the start of the war, which we know is not going so well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's sometimes wars don't go well. I mean, it's kind of a thing to expect. At some point, wars are going to turn. Like, very rarely in any sort of history has a war been started and ended where the one side won the whole time. Like,
or no violence happened at all.
Yeah, like you need to expect something to go wrong. You can lose a battle, you just can't lose the war. They're losing the battles right now.
While all that was happening, Panis Rahl also decided to send shadow people.
Yeah, those are the types of things that could make wars go bad for people.
Yeah.
Shadow people.
Shadow people. The shapeless, made of magic, no true form, and unaffected by weapons, quote-unquote, people.
Mm-hmm.
If you've played Baldur's Gate, you know what they are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those sons of bitches. The other bad thing about these shadow people, though, is if they touch you, they cause boils and sores, and then you die in agony. And to date, no known cure.
Don't get touched.
Don't get touched. Don't get the touch.
No cure. There is a 100% effective preventative measure you can take. Wrap yourself in bubble wrap.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Actually, no, they can probably go through bubble wrap.
Oh, fuck.
You're fucked.
I have not seen bubble wrap since I got here. So
That's a good point.
That would be hilarious. Like Lord of the Rings, Rohan is just screaming down the hill, and then you see one of the horsemen just
Pop,
fully
pop,
wrapped
pop,
in
pop.
bubble tape.
I got like in the middle of the speech. Pop, pop, pop.
What's going on with Brian? I don't know. He thinks it's going to keep him safe from something. I guess we'll see.
He said a time traveler told him it would work.
Just the lone horseman left over after the war. Like, I told you guys. No one listened. They're all dead now. Well, to fight back against the Shadow People, Zed conjured battle horns that swept the Shadow People away like smoke and then killed the wizard who conjured them, turning the tide of the battle, which, as we've just discussed, important to do.
Yes, yeah. It helps to win usually.
I feel like this is most likely why the dude he killed earlier, the newly headless noble,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of nearly headless Nick, why he had an untraceable letter.
Oh.
Because this happened, they, like the bad guys, do
Yeah.
not want Zed to figure out how to get a line or who exactly is in charge of doing this thing.
Oh, yeah.
So if they obscure who it's all coming from, he's got a harder time of actually fighting the source of the bad.
we do find out here in the chapter that basically both sides have a means of extracting information from the other side.
Yes.
So basically, at this point, we all know what the other side know. Like, they know everything we know, and we know everything they know. There's no hiding knowledge now. So now everyone's being super fucking careful
Yeah.
to not leave traces of information around because they know it would be very easy
Yeah.
for somebody on the other side to grab and find the information. So now it's like lock down the secrets, which is why it is wild that this woman is just sitting on the steps being like, hey, random woman, let me tell you all about what's been going on here personally and like nationally security wise.
Yeah.
Wild.
It is kind of a weird turn. Well, I don't know much about emotions, but let me tell you something about the secrets of state.
And on top of that, everyone is aware in this conversation that that woman is going to return home to a Daharan occupied force.
Yeah.
Who is clearly here for her people's best interest, who probably could maybe leverage this information. Well, although I guess up until this point, nothing's been revealed that the other side doesn't know.
Right. But
But
we continue to talk.
But this is a slippery slope.
Well, after many attempts at failing to kill Zed, Panis Rahl sent a quad to kill his wife, Erilyn.
Oh.
But instead of doing that, they did something much, much worse. They left Erilyn alive, but broken, bleeding, and in terrible pain. Ugh, this is so fucking rough. They also kidnapped Zed's daughter, who had seen the whole thing. And by the time Zed gets to Erilyn, she's only able to very quietly whisper his name. And then when he tried to heal her, there was something called a worm spell hidden in her or on her person somehow. And basically this spell is something that when you try to heal the person, that is going to be the thing that actually kills them.
It's a trap.
So in a weird way, it's like, I don't understand if they did enough damage to where she was going to die without him healing her, or if they had done enough damage to where it's like, look, she could just heal the natural way.
Yeah.
It'll take months and months and months, and it'll be horrible, and she'll be in pain for the rest of her life, but she won't die if you just let her have the pain. Or if it's like, no, she is going to die, I have to heal her, it's my only choice, and then that's just the nail in the coffin. Yeah, either way, it's fucking terrible.
I think that's what I think because they said she only had enough left in her to say his name. So I think she was slipping away. So she would have died either way had he not saved her. But they also made a point to mention that because of the love weaved in there, that tripped it as well. So there is a chance that had someone else done it,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But because he couldn't wait to save her, because that's his, I'm not going to wait to let somebody else do it. I'm just going to do it.
You wouldn't stop to think about the situation. You
Right.
would just heal your fucking wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that's ultimately her demise because somebody else could have healed her. It would have been fine. She could have died on her own. It would have been fine. But you are the one that caused it because you wanted to help her.
It's why the bad guys are bad guys. They are willing to weaponize love.
Or I believe, as we called it in the first section of this show, efficient tactics.
But also, I feel like this is another version of dulling your enemy's swords.
Dulling the old enemy's blades
their
on
own
the
women
whatever.
and children, because he is the wind of death, but also he is a very heartfelt person, right? He leads with his heart a lot. So in doing this, not only have you probably crippled his ability to keep hurting people because he's fucking sad, but also you've kind of broken his empathetic side because I can't just heal people because look, the last time I tried to save somebody, I ripped my wife apart from the inside out.
Jesus.
So you're dulling his weapon. He can't work as effectively as he did before this traumatic incident.
What's the best way to deal with the trickster? Trick him.
Trick him.
He tricked the trickster in a real fucked up way. Real fucked up.
So my brain just made two real quick hops, and I'm sorry, but one of them's totally unrelated, but it leads to the related thing.
Did you just go from the base of Hopper?
Base of operations? Yeah. I just left the base of operations. My brain just did this. You tricked the trickster. And then I was thinking back about like 1990s WWE wrestling. You can't sting the stinger. And then that led me to Scorpion, which is an interesting animal that has a stinger, which led me to Scorpions, the band, who has what I'm going to argue is Zed's now favorite song, Rock You Like a Hurricane, because Zed is the wind of death. Whew. I need a beer, but it's not time for the beer break. So
I'm assuming this is where we're going to insert a grandiose applause.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
would
follow
like
that
very
completely.
much.
Hey, I don't know who else will get that or not get. Followed it every step of the way. I was
That's
with
weird
you, pal.
for me. That's really weird.
I'm just baffled.
That was strange too.
Because I feel like that's the type of thing that happens in my brain all the time. And then you're always looking at me like, why are you bouncing around so much? Until
I just explained the middle
I'm
bit. That's what
confusing.
happened.
Is that what happens in your brain when you're looking at me? Or is that something that's never happened before and you just had a weird thing happen to you that happens to me all the time?
There is a reason that sometimes I do not
And you
answer
just
right away.
tune out?
And just because I'm
doing
thinking,
stuff like that?
I am actually thinking. It just takes my brain some time to get there because that's the kind of shit it does.
It's the Hangover Zach Galifianakis gif, but it's your face, and instead of math and numbers, it's rock music metaphors.
Exactly.
Scorpion, sting, stinger.
In
wrestling.
order for me to remember most other things, I got to get rid of a lot of lyrics that are just up here from high school. All right. Well, after this horrible, terrible, very bad, no good thing that happens to Zed's wife, he eventually finds all of the people responsible for it and kills them all. But he made them regret ever being born for a very long time before he did.
I'm conflicted on the fact that you tied a children's book title into what just happened.
You know, sometimes we have to make some things not as bad as they are, because if we really start to take apart how bad shit really is, there's just no way to smile through it.
Zedekiah Zulzarander and his terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day.
Is it wrong? I mean, I'm not thinking that he's not living his best life today.
And then little Timmy. Look at the picture.
Holy shit.
It's fucked up.
Well, it says for a very long time.
Oh, he tortured the fuck out of them for many, many hours. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if they didn't tell you where, like, if they couldn't tell you where your daughter was, or they just kept saying, I don't know, you're going to keep doing it until they're dead or they tell you.
Yeah, you get angrier and angrier and angrier until you realize that you're just beating nothing out of a lifeless pulp of gooey flesh.
Now, we wouldn't do that now because we would just call the police, right? But we can see why he would do it back in this day and age when there's nobody else, and he kind of is the police, right? He's the first person.
Yeah, he's
the head
top
person,
guy.
right? So that makes sense.
Yeah, who's going to question him?
Yeah, we would never do that in our situation. But but here.
But we're not the
Right.
wind of death.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
If I
Zed
were the
is.
winds of death, absolutely would torture the fuck out of each of these people.
And he did.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
he learned that his daughter was being
Yes.
held captive, but he didn't find out where.
That's why I'm saying you would keep going until you couldn't. Because if
Yeah.
they couldn't give you an answer, it's like, okay, well,
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
we're going to keep going until you can. And if you can't, that's the answer, right? We're going to
Here's
keep
the
going.
thing, bud. You just told me about the worst thing that another human being could have told me. So I'm going to
Yeah.
torture you to death. You can tell me or not, but I'm going to be honest. You are going to die today.
On
There
top
is
of-
no hope for you.
On top of the fact that these are the ones that not only snatched her, but actually broke all of your wife's limbs and you know, put the curse on her or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
just destroyed your entire life.
yeah.
I can't remember what movie or show it's from, but it's the thing where someone's torturing a bad guy to get information out of him, and it's like, I don't know anything else. And the guy just goes, I believe you. And then just keeps torturing him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that.
That's going to make this even more
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it for my
oh.
joy now.
Oh, I don't need to worry about keeping you lucid and conscious.
Fantastic.
Got it.
Let's go.
Cool.
Give me the size 6 pliers, please.
Oh.
I will just say the only thing that it does tell you though is that Zed is not Richard because Zed is not a tracker. If he was
Yeah,
a
that's
tracker,
true.
then he wouldn't have wasted time doing the torture. He would be like, "You don't know anything? Cool, great. You're dead now. I'm gonna go
Stab.
figure it out."
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go hop on my wizard's rock and heal myself while I track your ass with a fucking snake cloud
Right.
until I kill you dead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, ever since then, Panis Rahl has made an attempt on Zed's life pretty much weekly now. Trapped in his home by Zed because if he leaves, he's going to attempt to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
He sends Mord Sith, and he knows that Zed has a powerful spell up his robe sleeves, so Panis is willing to do absolutely anything to kill him. Abby asks if Zed wouldn't also do anything to save his daughter.
Is it the underworld spell? Is that what we think is the powerful spell that's
Yeah.
up his sleeve?
I
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
so. Panis at this point knows that Zed has something, might not know exactly what
right,
it is.
Right, we know.
But is assuming leaving his safe place because they've now just turned the tide of battle is not going to be smart. He might not have like an auto kill spell,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But Zed did something. I mean, he's actively looking to kill Panis after what happened to his wife and daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something like he put a bubble spell around the People's Palace, and it probably doesn't hurt Panis while he's in there, but like he can't leave. So he's limited to what he can access or do. And so a lot of the spells and the things he could probably be fucking with people with, he would have to maybe even go outside, even just the front doors. And he can't do that. He's just stuck inside, like the pandemic era.
I love the idea of Zed casting a spell that just puts a red dot on someone's forehead whenever they walk outside. Like, I know they didn't have snipers back then, but you like, you know, the Emperor walks out and like, boom, red dot right there. He's like, oh, fuck, and goes running back inside. There is nobody there with a gun anywhere.
I was just imagining like a force field. Like he tried to go outside one day and he just like he just couldn't. And
Walk
then he,
face first
yeah,
into it.
he just progressively
Ow.
like backed up, tried to run at it a couple times, got knocked onto the ground. Eventually was like, okay, I'm
Gonna
in
go.
here now. Everybody else is going in and out.
Well, the mother confessor explains that the nobleman Zed killed was a messenger that said if Zed would surrender and give up the war, they'd free his daughter. Otherwise, they're going to kill her. Now, Zed knew that to give himself up would just doom everyone, right?
Mhm.
Even if he did the thing, they're not going to hold up their side of the bargain, and this is going to end very, very badly. So he refused and condemned his own daughter to death in the process for the same exact reason that he refused Abby.
Mm-hmm. So Zed has literally walked in Abby's shoes.
Yes.
He's been in the exact same situation or he is currently in the exact same situation that Abby is in.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I know you want me to save your daughter, but look, I mean the thing that I said about we need to focus on greater good so much that
Mhm.
currently my daughter is also in the hands of the enemy and I'm not doing anything about it because
Mhm.
if I do, just like I said, the rest of us are going to die.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't save your daughter. I can't even save my daughter. So yeah, I feel real bad. But the answer is no.
But you are now, it's weird because Zed is like the top of the chain, right? But even though he's the top of the chain, he is just as helpless as Abby is in this moment. And I think there's just a little bit of Zed who's trying to get her to see it that way. I am not the all-powerful wizard. I am just helpless man with my daughter gone too. He may have a particular set of skills. But other than that, I mean, any parent's going to panic when your kid's gone. What the fuck are you going to do?
Here's the thing. Zed's not talking to her right now. The mother confessor is trying to tell her this. Zed,
Yeah, that's true.
Zed is like, here's the thing. I can't help you. Bye. He's, you know, he's
He
probably
was cold about it. Yeah.
maybe not cold, but he was like, it. I thought it was weird how, like, he did not, maybe not weird. He's the first wizard. He's got a lot of shit on his mind.
Yeah.
But there was no reaction that there was something similar going on with him when he talked to her about it. He seemed maybe a little bit soft. He was like, I'm sorry, child. That sucks. Which was nice, but he doesn't have the time to make sure anybody knows he's got that going on.
Yeah. Well, like you said too earlier, national secrets.
Right.
That might
right.
actually apply to like a whole country's safety. So he can't just give out this information willy-nilly. But it does make it a little ironic then that the MC does.
Also, personal choice. Nobody's fucking business. So it's offering my life for my daughters. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I don't need to fucking tell you. So, yeah.
I will tell you, or at least all of our listeners, or maybe humbly ask, that we take the time to have just a little bit of a beer break, and then we'll be back right after this. If that's okay, that is.
Bet if I were to go ask Maggie, she'd probably say no.
Hey, Maggie, could we get 3 more? Or I'm sorry, 2.5 more? Thank you. And we are back with the remainder of part 3 of Debt of Bones.
Stop.
Yes, Dob. All right. So now Abby may have a better understanding of where Zed's coming from, but she still wants to save her daughter, right? Like, yes, okay, I understand you're in a very tight situation. Or not he, because obviously she's talking to the mother confessor, but it doesn't negate the fact that she
This is
still
my
wants her kid to be
baby.
saved. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get he can't save his daughter, but that doesn't mean he can't save my daughter.
Doesn't mean he can't
Yeah.
try to save mine.
Yeah.
It's not like he's busy saving his. Oh. Okay, the thing that I just said is what gets you killed. Just want to put that on record.
If he doesn't give a shit about his daughter, he can give a shit about my daughter.
Yeah, what if Zed was the one who told that story and she goes, so it sounds like you have time to save other people's daughters.
Yeah, oh, fuck. In the back of her mind, she hears an echoed voice saying, I can still hear you. Oh, no.
That really was a short story.
Yeah. Boom, that was done.
Don't talk shit. That's the lesson.
Well, because she didn't get a chance to show the first wizard what she had in her bag, she shows the mother confessor the bone that she has in her bag and explains that Zed can test it to verify that it is actually a real, no shit debt of bones.
I mean, she could have.
Yeah, thank you.
Like,
Thank you for coming around to my thinking.
here's the thing. In the last little chunk, we didn't know the bag was that important. Now
Yeah.
we do. You could have, if you couldn't talk, you could have just like, oh, I don't know what to say, but I will slyly put my hand in my sack and pull out my bone and be like, hey, look at my bone. Does
Yeah.
that look cool to you? Do you like my bone?
But she said it wrong the last time. She
Yeah.
said, I have a bone debt,
Yeah,
which
she
we've
needs
all
to
agreed.
yeah.
You got to say the name of the book,
Debt of
otherwise no one
bones.
knows what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She should have held it out and been like, do you like my debt of bones?
Yeah.
Does this change your tone? And seen how it went.
Yeah.
And then she wouldn't have even had to speak. He would have been like, what is that weird thing?
The rhyme helped too.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, even though they were skeptical, because a debt of bones is very, very rare, the mother confessor and the sorceress, Delora, by the way, that's her name, agreed to see the first wizard on behalf of Abby, but they can't promise anything. This is an after-hours visit.
Yeah.
They're just going to go have a talk with the guy that they work with and just say, hey.
It sounds pretty sure, though, because
Yeah.
the one was like, I can't convince him. The other one was like, listen, if you say it and I say it, I'm just saying.
If it comes from us as opposed to Abby.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not coming
Yeah.
from two random people or the generals. It seems like these two women hold a special side of his ear. And so if both of them are pulling on it, he's going to lean that way.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of makes sense to me, too. Like, hey, Zed, not saying you got anything wrong, but there's been a change of situation. We're not going to... Here's the thing. They set her up at an inn, right? They give her a place to stay. They give her food, you know what I mean, for the night. But they're going to go to Zed and just say, hey, there's been a slight change in the situation. Here's the extra information. Maybe, what do you think now?
Yeah. It is interesting to me that the mother confessor asks if she has money to stay somewhere, kind of implying that if she didn't, she'd be willing to give it to her.
Well, or that, or it's like, hey, we're going to offer to stay in the castle, but we're not going to tell her that's on the table if she has money to pay for her own
Let
room.
her take care of herself first, yeah.
Well,
But
what? Yeah.
Just saying, maybe things change from this point to Kaylin's time,
True.
but in Kaylin's time, you can't even give a fucking loaf of bread, right?
No.
Yeah. Now, to your point, though, Nate, like what we're talking about here is that Abigail is saying this is a bone that was given to her mother by Zed. Like, this is not just a random bone.
Well,
Zed's father.
yeah, we'll get into it. Delora walks with Abby through the market, making small talk, getting her some food and making sure she gets to the inn all right. She gets tucked in. She's had a long fucking day. Hopefully the sorceress is going to get through and the mother confessor are going to get through to Zed that night. She has her dinner, I assume, drinks like 3 really big ass glasses of wine and settles into bed.
I can't get service like that.
The only problem is that later that night, the door opens and a shadowy figure enters the room.
Good thing we just learned about shadow people.
Yeah, shadow people are great. Well, this shadow actually has a name, and its name is Mariska.
The girl from Law and Order?
Yeah, Mariska Hargitay. She just snuck in Abby's room.
Mariska Hargitay to you too.
Abby's immediate reaction is, wait, why the fuck are you here? Question, how the fuck did Mariska find Abby?
Because she's a sneaky little old creepy person and probably followed her back from the keep.
That was my thought. Do you think she just followed her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old people don't have anything else to do. I didn't think that was going to be quite that funny, but I'm glad it is.
I kind of can't wait till I'm old. It's like, I'm just here today. That's
what are you
my whole
doing?
plan.
Whatever the fuck I want.
Whatever the fuck I want. Oh, I'm going to be the best crotchety old man. It's going to be so fun.
I'm over 60. Shut the fuck up.
Well, Mariska explains that she is here to find out if Abby got the help she needed. As we know already, she did not.
She's also at first like, none of your goddamn business, which is absolutely the right answer to that question.
Yeah.
You fucking bailed when shit got real. I went in and made the request. This is none of your business.
It wasn't your business to begin with. And this is my bedroom. Go away.
I know we know names now, but this is not like the 1980s where we're like, well, my name's Bill. Oh, that means we're not strangers anymore. Like, no, I don't know who the fuck you are. I've known you a total of 1 hour.
Yeah, and also you snuck into my room.
Yeah.
Creepy! Go away!
That's a red flag, Mariska.
Yeah, there is just a few red flags that have come up now.
I don't know how you people do things in the city, but in the country, that's fucking weird and liable to get you killed. So.
Yeah. Big fat note from me.
I would have invited you in if you would have knocked and asked.
Yeah, no shit.
Actually, no, I wouldn't, because we're not friends.
Well, yeah, that too.
Abby tells Mariska that it was none of her fucking business because, it was none of her fucking business.
Yeah, it's personal.
Right. When Mariska responds that's just going to be too bad for little Jenna.
Yeah, with a sly smile with gap tooth missing that she was tonguing earlier.
For little Jenna.
Oh, God.
Like that?
I don't like that.
Like that? Well, it's made
So probably
to make
like
you
that,
uncomfortable, right?
I don't like it, though.
And this gives Abby pause because, wait a minute.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you know about Jana?
Yeah.
That's her daughter that she has not fucking named yet.
New. Well, I had no idea who it was.
That's going to be a fucking problem.
Yeah.
On top of this stranger being way too in your business and now knowing more than you know that you've shared.
No, she immediately starts getting, like, she makes a couple, she mentions Jana. She also makes a couple of, like, not specific references, but like, what about your city or something? Like, she makes a couple of vague references as well that she's like, you're being really specific about my problems that I didn't divulge.
Yeah. Mariska knows a lot of specific issues that Abby is dealing with right now. And Abby has been a little tight-lipped about it.
Yeah. Absolutely not. Not okay. Go away.
Well, this all crescendos when Mariska pulls a fucking knife on Abby.
Mm-hmm.
She waves it around and said she's leaving in the morning to go see little Jana. And if Abby can bring the first wizard to her, Jana will go free. Look, I don't want in on this nasty little plan of yours, but if it is going to have any chance of working, you need to at least wait to leave until I have my meeting.
Well, I think that's what it was, right? She says, I was denied my help, which was, I mean, she was just trying to be kind of vague. And that's when this bitch like flips on her and it pulls out this knife. And it's like, you didn't deliver on your promise. It's like, bitch, who are you?
Yeah.
I am surprised by how Abby immediately goes, oh shit, okay, let me turn on it and be like, tell you, no, I have a meeting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, to Mariska's defense, which I don't like that this is a stance I'm taking, because I don't want to defend Mariska, but what Abby said is what you would say to try to just delay for more time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no, I have a meeting tomorrow. She's like, why? He denied you. Why would you have a second meeting?
Yeah.
That's what someone who's trying to think, or that's what someone who thinks I'm dumb would say. Like, no, you don't have a meeting tomorrow. The first wizard doesn't see people twice.
You just said he said no.
Yeah.
You're fucking lying.
You're just trying to buy more time. No, you failed. We're done.
But even in that case, like, if she was lying, then you know it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So she's fucked anyway, and you're just off to murder a child.
I just think it is wild because in my brain, and this whole time I was reading this book, and I feel like while I was there, I would be so wildly confused. Because I'd be like, you were here all day. I get you know a lot, so you probably are from the Daharan side, right? But how the fuck you're an old woman. How the fuck do you factor in?
Yeah.
How do you you're not a Daharan soldier. Can you explain to me who you are to them?
I was just going to say right now, the way that Mariska is involved is she's the one with the knife to Abby's throat.
And she knows about Jana.
We don't know how she's tied in, but
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know. I was just saying, from my point of view, I was kind of surprised that Abby is immediately like, I'm not really surprised that she's immediately just answering, but I would be like, feel like I would have some follow-up questions like, are you a sorceress? Who are you to these people?
You mean
absolutely
big picture scale? Who do you know? Why are you doing all of these things?
I thought my daughter was
not just you're the person in the room threatening me.
I thought my daughter was being held by the Daharan army, and you are an old, feeble woman.
Yeah, how do you tie into the army?
That's all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you tie into the army?
Or do you? I never really thought about that doing my first read through because she just seemed like a bad from the very first section. But how does she know the army? How does any of this really matter to Mariska if I save my daughter?
That was my question. I was just this is weird. Who are you?
You're right. It is definitely
weird.
weird.
Are you a shapeshifter? What is your deal? Like, I'll answer you, okay? I'll give you whatever you need because I love my daughter. I don't want you to, like, but what?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm assuming shadow person. I took it literally when they said like a shadowy figure.
Oh,
I'm like,
she went from shadow to human?
We just learned what shadow people are, and then we're told a shadowy person walks. She's a shadow person.
And then it's like good kind goes, and here's a little bit just for you readers. They're actually 10 times worse than you think they are because they can also just be people.
They're creepy. They're all creepy old ladies.
Well, to ramp up the creepy and the terror, Mariska puts the knife super close to Abby's eye and tells her that if she's late, she'll cut one of Jana's eyes and then let her watch while Mariska cuts out her father's heart, the Faja, cuts out her father's heart so she'll know just how bad it's going to hurt when Mariska does it to her. What the actual fuck?
That, I think that would hurt bad.
Also, I kind of feel like this is I'm going to be a tough guy starter kit kind of verbiage. Oh, I'm going to do this just so you can watch, and then it's going to hurt so bad when I do it to this.
I'm going to slice out your eyes and your balls, and then I am going to stick your eyes in your ball sacks, and then I will take your balls, and I will put them in your eye holes.
And it's just like, I don't think you're going to do any of those things, Mariska. I think you got a big old club behind your shack, and that's the way it's going to be.
I just want to say that this just leads to more questions for me. Again, I thought my people were just being used as fucking fodder in the army. Why am I being selected for my people to be personally tortured? And now we know that she wants to get the first wizard, and I guess there's that thread, but like there's some bigger conspiracy fuckery going on. That's all I'm saying.
There definitely is. Well, after Mariska awkwardly, I got to imagine it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go now. I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Don't fuck around.
Yeah.
Abby cries in despair and tells her that the first wizard has agreed to see her the next day because of the bone she carries. It's not a dumb fucking jug that I made. It was my mother's skull, and fuck you for making me feel bad about it. But Abby ultimately decides that she will bring the first wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Mariska warns her that if she doesn't bring the wizard as she's been instructed, then everyone will be slaughtered. And gives another Michigan goodbye, comments about the weather a few times, and slips out the fucking window while Abby cries herself to sleep.
Does she go out the window?
I don't know. I just like to picture it that way.
That's wild.
She does creep in the door. So she probably leaves out the door.
Oh.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, to clarify, it just says that after Mariska closed the door, she could have left through the window and then came back and closed the door.
Mariska closed the door. And then she crossed the room and left through the window.
Nate,
You don't see me. I'm supposed to be smoke right now.
can you find a happier time to pause in between these?
Afraid not.
These are bummers. By the way, speaking of bummers, if you said it, I just didn't hear it, so I apologize. We learned that the hair that the nobleman had was his daughter's, right?
Yes, it was his daughter's hair.
I take back what I said in the last episode about everyone being weird about the hair. That's not weird. I
Well, look.
regret saying it.
You get a fidget spinner, you play with a D20, you got your phone and your doom scroll, and these are all normal things to do. When you just walk around with a lock of hair in your hands, like how long do you keep a lock of hair? You
Well,
got to
yeah.
wash your hair normally at least a few times a week. Like, is it just greasy? Have you had this for months? What are you doing with hair?
Well, yeah, when the nobleman had it, it was weird. But when Zed had it, it wasn't weird anymore. I called that weird.
Yeah.
Not weird.
Then you kind of
Not
understood
weird.
why he had it.
Yeah.
Just wild.
Yeah. Ugh.
Well, if you wanted to let us know what you thought of this chapter or this episode, be sure to write in your journey books to podcastatt@gmail.com, or you can go to patreon.com/podcastatt and make a pledge of any amount. We've got tons of side quests, live episodes, and, just other general projects that we're working on there. There's a lot of cool stuff. I don't want to spoil the surprise. If that's not your style, you can always follow us on any of our social medias. We sure would love to see you all there. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye. Do you guys think that Panas got like really bored when he was stuck in his little bubble in the palace because of Zed, and he started getting like taking up hobbies like we did during the pandemic, and that's what led to the Garden of Life? Like he was like, I just am so bored, I gotta take up some gardening. And he was like, I want to bring the out in because I can't go out there, so like let's make a fucking garden.
That was his pandemic project.
Yeah,
He built a little garden.
He built the Garden of Life.
Look, it could be. It could very well be.